Part 2 of our Word Chapter 2 flyer. Flyer. Creating a research paper with references and sources. That's what we're working on. We left off at the bottom of page 102 in the classroom. This video picks up on page 103 of your textbook. Just a reminder, you should have your file, your paper open. Your book had talked about minimizing in the white space at the top and bottom of your pages. If you wanted to not see that, you don't have to. It's simply a double click. When you move your mouse near the edge of your paper, you get a double-headed arrow, and you double click that, and it hides off your margins. So if that ever happens to you accidentally, you can remember what this is and just bring it back. Also, I want to put here on the video that in the classroom we were 3 characters off in our word count, and I figured out that was because the text that I provided here in the classroom had a word wrong. We are going to, at the end of this, do a find and replace to change a word to identifier, and I forget what the word is, maybe element, something like that. And my text I had you bring in already had the word in it. So that's 3 characters longer than the word we're replacing, and that's why our word count was 3 characters off. So we will not have to worry about that in future. Your cursor should be down here on page 2. We were talking about your computer based on your printers and other settings, fonts and stuff, determines how many lines and characters fit on your page, and the system generates automatic or soft page breaks that it adjusts as they are needed. We left off, we had put in a placeholder for Alan Smith. Now we want to actually edit that. We've come back a few days later, we have the information. So we click somewhere in that word and it brings up our citation options button that we can click. All we have to do is say that we want to edit source. Click the button for edit source. This one is going to be a website. So for our type of source, we scroll down until we find website. Notice the fields in the dialog box change. As we discussed in part 1, you still have to understand, according to the guidelines, what it is that you have to, what pieces of information you have to provide. All that Microsoft Word is doing is saying if you put something in one of these fields, I will put it in the correct place as I understand it for MLA style, and if I recall correctly, we're doing 7th edition. So you decide which ones to go in. We're going to go and follow what's in the book. Thankfully, they've all done this for us. So our author, we're putting in last name, comma first, Alan Smith, comma Samantha, Claire, space for Claire. Remember, there's no spelling in here. Corporate author would mean that the website is owned by a company, not a specific individual, like GRCC. You won't find individual names owning a page, authoring a page on the website. So you would click the button for corporate author and put in GRCC. The title of the web page, in this case, is Understanding Face Recognition Systems, or better spelling, recognition. I think I've got it. Make sure that we click on Show All Bibliography Fields, because there's more information we need to put in here. So the name of the web page is Understanding Face Recognition Systems. We have a production company. It is produced by Course Technology. So evidently Samantha is authoring the information that is put out on this website, and Course Technology, the company, is maintaining the website on Samantha's behalf. Would be my interpretation of this. We have a year 2014. This is what year, when did you get it off the website? And technically we didn't get it yet, but no, next year we'll have it. In September 2014 on the 16th. Remember, September, MLA style abbreviates months, so it's just SEPT period. Oh, thank you. Nobody's told me that I'm in the wrong fields. I appreciate you. 2014 is in the... Did you notice this? You have two. The year, month, day is a date on the website. Some of the websites will tell you the last time they were updated. That's what that's referred to. Year accessed, month accessed, day accessed is when did you go on that website to get this information. And of course we need to go down until we find our tab, our field for medium, and we say that this is a web source. We click OK. Nothing changes in our placeholder, but it now has the correct information in it for the source. We don't need it to change the placeholder. We have a period here, and then we press enter to start a new paragraph, and we type in our last couple sentences. If you recall, here on campus you can insert those from the insert tab of the ribbon. Over here on the right hand side, click the drop down arrow for object, find text from file, navigate to the student drive. I also refer to it as the H drive if you see that alphabet character at the end of it. Now this stuff is in alphabetical order, so you want to scroll down to BA 145. This time it's not in data files, it's in the Mrs. Talsma folder. We are in Word 2, and we are on page 104. Let's see what it brings in and see if I got that right. Reminder, formatting does not come with it. It does not match up to our formatting. It maintains its own formatting. So I'm going to put my cursor in a previous paragraph. On the Home tab of the ribbon, I'm clicking Format Painter, and I'm clicking in my new paragraph. Seeing as how I was only bringing in one little paragraph, this was an easy way to do it. You can use Format Painter. Another way to do this would be to simply select the text and cut it and put it down into your blank return that does have the correct formatting. You may also, third way, click and drag it down there. You just have to remember to go delete the extra return. Several ways to accomplish the same goal. This is not gradable. All I can grade is whether or not it's in the correct place. I don't grade on how it got there. So now, we said that in the MLA style paper, our list of sources is going to go on a page called Works Cited. Bibliography is a technical word for it. I don't like to use that word in class because that is the title of an APA style list of references. So I prefer to keep my terminology separate. I will always refer to it as a works cited or source list in MLA. We have our paper done. We press enter because we're done with that paragraph. Now we want to get to a new page. How many of you, be honest, admit it, how many of you would like to press the enter key until a new piece of paper shows up in your screen? Come on, admit it. Yeah, over half the class raised their hand. That would be fine today because this is all the text that you have in your paper. Tomorrow, your instructor edits it and tells you you need to add a paragraph here, you need to take off a paragraph here, you got to do some things. Then you come back in here, you do all that, and all of a sudden when you go look at your Works Cited page, it's got all this white space above it. That's not what you did. Then you have to remember, oh yeah, I've got all those returns up there, and take some off. Instead, let's use technology efficiently and have it take care of that problem for us. Let's insert a manual or hard page break. so that no matter what happens in the paper, it can shrink, it can grow all it wants to. Our Works Cited will always start a new page. On your page layout tab of the ribbon, you have a command called breaks, and if you click that drop down arrow, you see a lovely list of breaks. We don't feel like dealing with that. That gets more complicated. On the Insert tab, you have a command for add a blank page. That's one great way to do it. We also have keyboard shortcuts. Anybody know the keyboard shortcut? Control Enter. Excellent. Love it. I'm going to try this add a blank page button. Guess what? It did exactly the same thing. Except, here's the difference. When I use the keyboard shortcut for Control Enter, my page break is the immediate character, and then there's nothing underneath the text of my paper. When I use the command for blank page, it inserted a blank return here. So if you're going to use that command for the button to insert a blank page off the insert menu, make sure that you come back and double check that it doesn't give you an extra return. Why would I care about that? Let's say we have a paper that fits exactly on 2 pages. I mean exactly. You change a word, next thing you know, it's on 3 pages. Why would that be on 3 pages? If you have this extra return on here, there could be some coding or stuff in it that actually made it do it. So, same thing with the flyer we were talking about. Maybe you're vertically centering. You want equal spaces of white space top and bottom. This extra return would throw that off. You'd have more space on the bottom. And you might not be able to figure it out. So we want to remember to be efficient, not leave extra paragraph returns in our document. So, Works Cited. We're on page 3, right? Works Cited has to have a certain formatting to it. Basically, it matches everything else. It matches the title of the paper is what it matches. It's centered. It is not first line indent. We already talked about that earlier, about how if you leave your first line indent on, the centering will be off, and it's still double spaced. So, we want to tell it, give me normal. And you're going to go, well, I thought we were in normal, because normal was the blue box around it. That's true, but we had set an indent on normal. This now makes certain that everything we did is no longer carried forward. It stops above this paragraph return. So we just simply put it on normal. And then I'm going to use Control E, our shortcut to center. Our title is Works, more than one plural, cited, past tense. Press Enter, gives me a new line. I don't want it centered, so I'm going to press backspace to get me over to the left margin, or Control L. Here's the really cool stuff. Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? Let's do it. I'm going to hit save just in case I screw up and I have to close this and reopen it. Let's get that whole list of sources in here that we don't have to fuss with. Let's go to Reference tab. I want to insert my bibliography. So in the citations and bibliography, remember I said bibliography is the formal word for this list. It's also the title of an APA style, so we're not using it very much here. Here's the thing. Now you have previews. Do you want a bibliography that looks like bibliography? Hey, how come I'm an APA style again? Hey, how come I'm an APA style? Yeah, how to get to APA? We're doing an Emily style paper. Didn't we change that Tuesday? Triple check that. Evidently didn't save. I haven't had this document open since then. Oh, now that says Emily. stop messing with me. If it does, just change it back. Tell it who's boss. So notice you could insert a bibliography. We said that's a formal word. You could insert references. That's not the word we're looking for. Or you can insert the works cited, which is what we are titling this. However, look at the way that words in blue, those words in blue, works cited, are going to come in looking like that and be inside the gray coding that's going to be part of it. Remember we talked about page numbers? We said when you go over something and it turns gray like that, it's a field code that Microsoft generates. This words works cited would be inside that field code. We're going to get to one of these field codes showing all our bibliography list. We don't want that. So instead, click the bottom one where the actual words say insert bibliography. Bam! Did you get it? Did you get it? Did you get it? I have a question. What order are these in? Alphabetical by what? Author, last name, right here at the edge. A-N-R. I used to teach you how to sort things on this because it didn't come in alphabetical order. These days I don't have to do that, but I'll certainly show it to you, and I'm deleting that extra return there because I just don't feel like having it. I'll show you what it's like. I think if we were to go to our home tab of our ribbon, see I clicked once on a source and it has selected the whole thing. And I think if we go over here, there's a little button right here that says A to Z. You can sort numbers, you can sort paragraphs, you can sort text, headings, sorts of things you want to do. We don't have to do that anymore, but it's always a handy dandy feature to know about. I get a little list of names. More than 2? Alright, more than 3. Don't want to figure out how to alphabetize myself. I'll just select this, select them, and use that little alphabetical sort button. Very nice button. Here's the other thing. How come, what's going on here? Why do I have all these white spaces? They're double spaced, you're right. What's going on here? We went back to normal, right? We cleared everything. We went back to normal text. So why doesn't everything go to the left margin here? In this version, for the first time ever, you're absolutely correct. Office 2013, for the first time ever, brings in these sources, your bibliography list, with a hanging indent already on it. It is in the works cited style to do that. Back in the day, last summer, you know, when we were still using 2010, we would have all of our information, right? And we would have to tell it to go to hanging indent. And we already learned about these little buttons up here on the ribbon. The top one's for first line, the triangle pointing up is for everything else, the hanging indent. So we could use that, or you have a keyboard shortcut, Control T. Every time you press that, your hanging indent increases by 5. Helpful things to know. Stop it. Click what I want, not what you think I want. So now I like this. I'm definitely saving again. So now if you take a minute and look at this, you'll notice things like Chicago. We didn't type a colon after that, did we? After the years, we didn't type any periods, did we? That's the type of thing, we didn't put anything in italics. That's the type of thing that the automated bibliography will do for you. And then you just match it to your style. If you need to, you can still adjust formatting of that, but you want to be careful because if you update this, that formatting may not stay. To modify a source, we're just going to stay on our reference tab or move back to our reference tab and click on Manage Sources. Now, we want to update the Rossi one, so in the current list we select it on the right hand side, click once on it, and then simply select the Edit button. In the title, it's not understanding how, we have to delete that word. It's not supposed to be part of the title. It's as easy as that to edit your sources. And click OK. It exists. Do you want to update both lists? Absolutely. And then close. Bam. Our website's already updated and waiting for us. Page 110 has instructions if your screen did not update, things you can do. You can right click and say Update Field. Oh, I found it. If you think that this is the final bibliography list and you don't want it to be a field code, you don't like it to be a field code, because you use that command insert bibliography, the one at the bottom, there's a keyboard shortcut that we learned in 2010 that they're not teaching you here. Oh, actually they are at the bottom of page 110. You can convert this to regular text. It's Control Shift F9. I just did that on mine. So click somewhere in. It's all shaded gray. Shows you that it's a field code. Hold down Control and Shift together. Now press F9 once. And it's literal text. It's no longer a field code. So if you're uncomfortable with that computer generated one, you could put it in here as literal text if you have further manipulation to do to it that you're not certain how to do electronically. Copying, cutting, pasting on page 111. We can do this quickly because we're quite comfortable with this. Let's find out what we want to do. First of all, let's check out something. Bless you, there was a sneeze in the classroom. On the View tab of your ribbon, click your View tab. Click the button that says you want to see a navigation pane. This is an actually very handy thing when you're working with longer documents or even short documents and you just want to be able to move quickly. It's got 3 tabs on it. You can see the headings you want to go to. You can search. You can go to pages. We just simply want to move to page 2. And there. It took me to the top of page 2. You just click it. That easily. Another way to navigate through your document. Of course, if you know where you wanted to do, you could have done your keyboard shortcut Control G for go and typed in on the page 2 and off you would have gone to page 2. Things to remember: copy, cutting, pasting. Copying is the process of leaving the item in the document and making a second of it. Cutting says I don't want it here. It literally moves it, takes it out. Pasting is putting either one of those back where you want them to go. So we are going to check out through a biometric element. We want biometric. This word biometric we're going to move, but we want to copy it, not actually move it. Oh, and I already did this for us, didn't I? I already moved it down here. See the word biometric here? It's already here at biometric also. Here's how I did that. I had it selected and I held down Control and then I dragged the word over to it. So it left the original word and made me a copy of that word and put it in front of devices. When you do paste, you usually, not always, 98% of the time you will have a paste options menu. The 2% of the time you really want it, it won't be that way. For example, when we inserted text from another file. Because we didn't actually paste, we inserted. Here we are copying, and you usually have a paste options menu that allows you to keep the formatting of where the word was, match the formatting where it's landed, or keep the text only. Next thing we want to check out, and hopefully I haven't done this already for you. Let's go on your navigation pane. Let's click on Results. In the search document, we want to say Element. The search document field. That's what happened up on page 1. I already replaced this word and I shouldn't have. I think here in Blackboard I have instructions for, this is where I have it as. Okay, we'll do that in just a minute. We'll follow the book and then I'll show you what we're going to do. We have about the word element. Alright, why is the word element now in yellow? It's just drawing our eyes to it. It has not highlighted it. It's not permanent. It's simply because we are in the search dialog box. It's showing us everywhere that word pops up. And in this text right now, there's only one word. That makes sense? So we could retype it and replace it with the word identifier. But you know what? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's more in the document than we know about. I don't have to read every word, do you? Let's use a feature called search and replace. Find and replace is another way you refer to it. I'm going to use my keyboard shortcut, Control H. This is also on the Home tab of your ribbon. It looks like a pair of binoculars. You could have brought that up. I'm searching for the word element, and I want to change it to the word identifier. Usually, if you just type everything in lowercase, it will automatically replace the word element, how it found it, with the word identifier. And by this I mean if it finds the word element with a capital E, it will put a capital I on identifier. So it will match the case of what it's finding. Again, I did a Control H to get to this box. Element is in the find what, and then replace with, I typed in the word identifier. This is I want to emphasize because this is how I expect you to do something on your test, and it's going to freak all of you out, and you're going to think that you have done something wrong, and by trying to correct it, you will actually make something wrong. Oh, they want to be identifier. Some people are so picky. All right, we'll be identifier. So the question of the class corrected my spelling. Thank you very kindly, because I had not been happy about this. On your test coming up, the way that I will know that you did things correctly is if you hit this replace all. It means I am confident that what I wanted happened. You do want to be a little cautious about this. I've done this before, highly confident, and then I have last names duplicated in a document. You know how some last names are 2 words, and I didn't account for that, and I have Van, or Van Andel. Oh, so you want to make sure. It's only found the one replacement, so yes, I'm going to, I don't need to, you can say yes, go to the rest of the document, and it's all done. It made one replacement. The reason it came up and said we found one replacement was because I literally had the word selected. If we had nothing selected, it would have just done the entire document in one fell swoop. And that's what I'm going to encourage you to do. So, let's check out what I want to do to practice. In Blackboard, I've got it noted. Let me make sure this is the way you're seeing it. I have it noted here in Blackboard under step number 3. I want you to practice this technique. That's the find and replace technique I'm talking about. We want to find the word device. We want to replace it with the word gadget. And I have noted in this bullet that we want it to appear in bold and highlighted. Here's an example of it on the last bullet. So how do we get the computer to apply bold and highlighting for us? Easy. We click this More button over here on the left-hand side of our dialog box. Here, if you wanted to be specific and you were looking for something in all uppercase letters, you would tell it to match case exactly. I apologize, I used the wrong word before. Before I would have told you that it fluctuates. Match case does not fluctuate. It has to match exactly. I'm going to put on Format, click that button, and I'm going to go to Highlight. Hey, it didn't ask me what color. You will note that it uses whatever color you used last. Whatever color is on your ribbon for the last time you used the highlighting tool is the color that will show up in this. I'm not too worried about what color it is. And then we're also going to do, I said bold. So now we go into, again, Format, to the font. And we say that the font style over towards the right hand side at the top needs to be in bold. And we click OK. This special, this is where you can look for certain characters that you don't know how to write into the box. I have a question. Look at your Find and Replace dialog box. Which field says that that's going to be font bold and highlight? Did anyone's cursor jump back up to the Find What dialog box? Anyone have it written up in the underneath the Find What? This is also an improvement in Office 2013. If you're using a different version, I can tell you the fact that I hit that Format button, the cursor would have jumped back up to the Find What dialog box. You have to make certain your cursor's in the Replace With. So what do you do if it goes to the wrong box? Oh, easy. Click on the one you don't want, like I don't need this search down stuff on the Find What. If it had formatting on it, all I would have done was said this button at the bottom, no formatting. Click it once and bam, it would have taken it all off. Let's hit Replace All. Continue searching from the beginning, sure. 8 replacements. Ooh, see the difference there? First there were only 3 in where I was, and now there's 8. Hey, where's my... If we got 0, something interesting happened. Where's my format? Where's my highlight? Okay. Please notice. All right, I'm going to do it one more time. Oh, my highlight is no color. Oh. So I'm going to change that. Let's make it, oh, pink. I'm into pink today. One more time. This time I have to find gadgets. And I have to put in gadget, bold, and highlight. Oh, that's not very nice of you. Because you want to find there and bold. See, I probably would have been smarter to do unbold. I would have probably been smarter to do, oh, I got to spell it. Replace all. There we go. I could have just hit an undo. If it didn't work for you, you could also hit an undo. Here's what I want you to focus on. Are you listening? Here's what I want you to see. What does it look like, the second word of this paper? Does that look correct to you, the second word of the paper? What don't you like about it? What seems awkward? Different? Inappropriate? The S. We don't like it that the S isn't in bold. We don't like it that the S isn't highlighted, right? This is how you show me you use that Replace All button. So on your application test in a week or so, or maybe 2, when I say, do a find and replace it this way, just follow the instructions. All I'm looking for at that moment is that you are showing me that you are comfortable with the skill of using the Find and Replace document. dialog box. I'm not looking for a correctly written paper. Make sense? Good. The other thing we have going on is we need a synonym. Can you say it? Synonym, aluminum, cinnamon. We want a synonym. Sometimes you find that you've used a similar word or a word more than once, especially in the same paragraph. And Good English Write tells you, hey, vary your words. Don't do that. We have a way of making that happen. At the end of our paper, find the word occupational and click in it. Last paragraph starts home and occupational. Use whatever method you want to get there to find that one. I don't like the word occupational, or maybe I've used it too many times recently. I'm going to right click that word and go down to the command for synonyms. And here's a list of some good synonyms, or you can go directly to the thesaurus and find more information. On your test, I will tell you something brilliant, like use the 6th word in the list of synonyms. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And you just select it and it changes that word in your document. Again, my focus on there is you're showing me that you use the synonym feature, not that you can replace a word with text. Make sense? May not actually read well in the sentence, but again, that proves to me that you used the synonym feature and chose the correct word as I instructed. I know, you'll forget all this in 2 weeks, but I'll remind you of it. I'm not going to go through custom dictionaries, the research pane. Those are good stuff. Read mode. I would like to go through this. How many of you have already cited you don't like the color scheme of Office 2013? I'm alone in this. Page 121. First of all, down here on your status bar to the right, bottom right of your screen, click that you want to go into read mode. Now, on the view menu, when you're in read mode, you have some things you can do. And let's say that we want to change the page color. Maybe we like, my whole body went, oh, that's better. That white on white was like, ooh. You don't realize it, but trust me, it's ooh. And then your book engine, that was on page 121. Your book ends up on page 122 with printing and exiting, which we are not printing. So that means we may exit. We have completed our practice document to create a paper with footnotes and sources. Remember now your assignment is available in the Word 2 folder on Blackboard, and we are creating lab 2. It gives you text there. The things that it's asking you to do in that assignment are very similar to the style of instructions I give you on the test. Let's take a quick look over there before I close the video. Page 131. Oops. Gonna get my book here. This is where it starts. Tells you you're a college student enrolled. You're going to do this. Okay. Step 1 tells you to update run word. Let's see if I can get in here. Okay. Run word, modify the stance, do this. Okay. Update the normal style. Make sure you're doing the normal style. I can tell whether or not you will do the style. This is gradable. Create a header to number the pages. Okay. What are we going to do in a header? How are we going to number the pages? Last name, space, page number at right margin, right alignment. So this doesn't give you that information. Same as on your application test. I'll say number the page numbers appropriately. I will say type in the appropriate heading lines. That's the kind of instruction I give you. So this document that you're going to be creating following these instructions is closer to what you're used to, you're going to be seeing. They give you a sample of the flyer. Why am I keep saying flyer? Papers it's going to end up. Notice your pages, your instructions carry over onto page 133. That you can go through and finish that. So that'll end our video for Chapter 2. I hope you found this helpful, and then I'll take questions in the classroom.